Welcome to the Real Estate Majlis podcast, where we dive into the latest real estate insights and trends. Whether you are a seasoned investor or a first-time buyer, our podcast is here to provide valuable information and expert advice. This episode is powered by Bayut, the UAE's leading property platform and proud member of the Dubizo Group. Whether you're buying, selling, or renting, Bayut connects you with real estate solutions tailored to your needs using innovative tools like TrueCheck, TrueEstimate, TrueBroker, and Bayut GPT. From finding your next home to advertising your listings with confidence, Bayut offers real photos, real prices, and real properties, helping you make informed decisions in the market. Welcome to yet another episode at the Real Estate Majlis podcast. And today we have a very special guest. Mahmoud, would you like to introduce our new guest?
Well, we have one of the legends of Dubai real estate market, Mr. Firas Al Msaddi, who is a very well-known figure. So Firas, tell us about your story.
I'm very humbled by the introduction to start with. Just by way of a quick introduction for those who don't know me, I've been in Dubai for the last 18 years. I arrived on the 15th of December 2005. I barely spoke English back then. And I used to sell clothes. So when I arrived on a salesperson job in one of the fashion shops. And I remember we were selling luxury clothes back then. So it was always a big thing for me to see someone walking in and paying 10,000 dirhams for a suit. I was like, there must be something more for me in life than basically selling suits to these super rich. And obviously a third of the world's construction cranes were in Dubai. And the skyline was already fascinating. So I was like, I don't want to just watch it, I want to be part of it. But when I started asking around, they told me that it's a commission job only, which I have a very interesting angle to look at it. Maybe we can discuss it later on the episode. Sure. So I started taking interviews, and when I realized it's a commission job only, I couldn't obviously leave my job and go to an industry that is completely new to me. So I had my vacation. I had the 25 days vacation. Instead of flying to Goa with my friends, I went to one of the real estate companies. Back then, the market was less regulated. No comparison. In fact, there's day and night difference between before and now.
Yeah, so you could do part-time.
And I basically worked for 20 days on rentals. And I remember the minute I walked into the retail shop, I can visualize it now as we speak, as if it was yesterday. I looked at all the people and the cars they were driving and the way they were dressing and carrying themselves. And I was like, if these guys can make it, oh my goodness, I can take it over and beyond in this industry.
That's a bold statement.
And honestly, because I didn't see any of them with wings or anything. There's just normal people, turning up. And I mean, even when I was working in this fashion shop for 1 full year, I did not take a single day off. And for most of the year, I did 2 shifts. So when I went with that attitude, and I saw people and how many hours they're doing a day, I was like, oh my goodness, I can explode in this industry. Many people till now are contemplating, do I leave a basic job salary and go into a commission or not? Without realizing that in both cases, if you don't sell, you're out. Mm-hmm. And that was what I was contemplating. Anyway, if I don't perform, I'm out. So I rather sell something that will give me far more rewards than getting a salary. Anyway, back to my quick introduction. So I did few rentals. I liked it, went back, resigned. And then I basically joined a real estate company. I became the manager. And then I became the general manager after maybe 6 months or 9 months. But I swear to God, I used to sleep on the floor in that office. And I can tell you, the owner of that company, his name is Abi Karim. He's one of my best friends till now and family friends. I think he has seen me on the camera from my memory, literally sleeping on the floor in the office. Even when I go to sleep home, I just want the sun to rise the next day so I can get behind my desk and continue to work. And then I sold the company to 2 investors, and I remained the GM. I took the company to, I think, 35 people or something. I remember back then everything was golf news. So Gulf News was
the freehold.
was like
Remember
this
the
thick,
freehold?
remember?
Yes. The fight for the cover.
Yeah,
Getting on the cover, you
my
made
goodness,
it.
those days.
Right?
No
And then
social
they
media.
bought
No social
Property
media.
Magazine or something.
Yes,
that
as
was
well.
also
Those are
more
called the Property
expensive.
Weekly,
The
right?
Property Weekly.
Yeah,
You got a better memory than me. And then fast forward, I had 35 people, and then the partners went into a legal battle. I didn't want to be part of it, so I just basically walked away. I was joining one of the largest developers in Dubai, and then the recession hit.
The first one in 2008?
Yeah, so
Okay.
literally before joining, I was out because whoever was not actually fixed. After you go through a few, interviews and checks, and then they let me go. I joined a few other real estate companies in Dubai. I moved forward, and then I was like, I joined a few companies. I couldn't take that step back from a GM to an agent, and it wasn't the ego part as much as it was like, in all sense of practicality, I felt that I was really reporting to someone that I can do so much more than how they see the business. So anyway, fast forward, I decided to start my own company. So I bought a bankrupted license March 2009. It was called Special House. I renewed the license. I renamed it Fan Properties. People thought I was a lunatic to do that, and people still think that maybe it was like a risky thing because
and it's a really interesting point, because at that time to get a trade license was very hard, right? You have to buy the license from someone that was already in the market.
That was already the recession. So the license I bought was like a bankrupted license already. So it was not even renewed.
Okay.
So I remember I paid the fines, I renewed it, changed the name to Fan Properties, and then I started. I remember the first office I took, I signed a contract for 3.5 years, one contract, made one payment, and I said, that's it. The ships are burned. There's only one way, which is forward. And people thought that was an uncalculated decision. For me, it was a very rational decision. I think the difference between my mindset and the mindset of others, that was the fact that I was wired towards, if there's one transaction that will take place, even from 100,000 transaction to one transaction, why not me?
Yep.
Right? And then I also looked at the skyscrapers of Dubai and all the skyline and whatever was already built. And I was like, if my job was just to help people exit, sell their properties, I would be able to build a successful business in the process. So, and then I started, I remember, I got an office, 1,100 square feet. I put on the Frosted Glass Fam group. I had only Fam Properties, but that was an inspiration for me. Fast forward today, we stand as the largest real estate company ever built in Dubai. So not just today. This is brokerage company. Sorry, brokerage company. That's an important disclaimer. So brokerage company. But today we're more of a real estate ecosystem because we have 13 different companies. So we do, our core is a brokerage company, but then we do construction management. We have a real estate development company, full-fledged. We have a real estate development management company. Again, that's a full-fledged thing. Engineers, snagging, inspection, interior design, conveyancing, mortgage brokerage, holiday homes, property management. And in every single service that I just mentioned, every single business vertical is a standalone business that has its own team, P&L. Because, in Dubai, sometimes you talk to some companies, they say, we covered it all, but then it's all agreements and stuff. So
that's amazing. And, from what you're saying, I pick up a few things. Obviously, your full dedication, commitment to succeed. We are in an industry where people don't have a salary. And people tend to give up quite often, right? It's not easy to have that mindset of drive. So looking back and what have you built, what would you tell someone that is entering the industry now? What kind of mindset do you need to have to be successful?
I took it live on my Instagram yesterday. I said, when someone says, I can't, it means they're not willing to practice it 1,000 times. That's it. Because practice makes perfect. You need to know what you're signing up for. And you need to understand that you're competing for a massive reward. It's irrational. It's not smart to even think that things should happen for you easily.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely not luck.
You're not willing to practice.
You've been luck for 20 years working hard, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit into some of the most common questions that we're getting on the podcast. And I think one of the biggest frustrations, so you're talking about consistency and working hard, but there's a lot of people now still complaining in this day and age about the quality of the real estate agents. They are not educated, they're not ethical, they feel that they're not doing a good job. And I have to say, and I'll go through my own experience, the last 12 months, I managed to get in and out of the market in a few transactions. And I can tell you these are people who I would regard as with a certain level of knowledge. I would regard myself with a little bit of knowledge. And I can tell you that every single transaction was a nightmare. I think I had business owners of real estate putting the phone down because they wouldn't want to discuss clauses that as a buyer I want to put in the contract. I had brokers saying, the more you sign, see you later. When I'm running for the NOC, I'm running for the paperwork. Why is this still happening in this day and age and people are not client focused?
We're all competing towards one thing. Even today, government sectors are the same. We're all competing towards who can provide more value to clients, period. This is the overarching thing we're competing towards. When
100%.
People understand this, then they understand the importance of client centricity. Agents are the prize everyone loves to hate.
Yep.
And their reputation is well deserved. But there's a massive opportunity. By simply being genuine, you become special, and then more people want. The best value you can possibly give a client is basically the fact that you have the right value system.
Today, we have around 20,000 real estate agents fully licensed, regulated in Dubai. But looking at the numbers, actually, 10,000 of these 20,000 came post-COVID. So you can imagine the number of brokers who came to Dubai, the interest in Dubai, how Dubai presented itself as an attractive city. So a lot of people became agents, a lot of people left their jobs and became agents. So the quality, yes, it's an issue, but I think that's with training, with capacity building, with regulation, with enforcement, we will see better quality. However, I have a question here on two quality issues, Firas, and feel free to start with whatever you want. And sorry to take your turn, Cecilia.
No, please. I'm super excited about this topic.
You know, the nightmare for a lot of people is the fake listing and cold calling. And if you want to start with the second, cold calling, because a lot of us actually receive calls, random calls. You're not their clients. You still get calls. And that's sometimes annoying, and actually most of the time, even the timing of calls. So what is your take as FAM on cold calling? How effective it is as a tool? Can it be replaced by something else?
I think the next gen of marketing is branding. Some people are already there. Some people
personal
aren't
branding
there yet,
apps,
right? So personal branding and also institutional branding, because obviously if you have the right product and service, and you become known for that, which is your brand, then you don't need to go after clients. Clients will come to you.
The cold calling, as you know, currently we have federal and local regulation, which comes even to real estate, and there's 50,000 dirhams fines on companies. And there is a system called RVS, Real Estate Violation System, where people can complain. So what else can be done?
RERA and DLD has done a phenomenal job so far, making agents also aware that, hey, this is really not allowed, and I'm being strict. But I'm trying to talk about the other part of, the regulations, just allowing companies to grow from at the transparency level, for example, the entry barrier is a very important piece of this. More trainings beyond the RERA course is very, very important.
Well, I'll be very vocal about this because I think this numbers of 20 plus is something that we should not allow in the market. If it was a wish list.
It's an open market.
True, but I think we need to make it harder to get people in. Today we have to do things related to home finance, AML, compliance, regulations, and most of the brokers, they don't have the ability because they're not being educated unless the owners of the business are putting, investment around to ensure they are up to date to what's happening. But the quality out there is still very, very, very shocking. Yeah. And I think these are ongoing conversations that need to be there in the market to improve and ensure that if people, they can in, but for them maybe to maintain their license, we need to do something a little bit stronger.
You nailed it. Two things that you both said is rightly said. To make it harder, and it's an open market, both needs to be there. Yeah. But I would just give my 2 cents on this, is just to be more selective. Keep it an open market, very competitive market, but raise the bar of the entry criteria. Yeah. So I'm not saying put a limit to how many people can become real estate agents per year, for example, but today, anyone and everyone. And you know what? One more thing apart from the market is that also many people either don't have the right judgment, they don't know, or they didn't do enough search. They don't know what they're getting into. So they come thinking, oh, in 1 month or 2 months, I'll become rich. But the whole different ball game.
I think Dubai has an interest to make sure that people get the opportunity. But again, more restriction on training, professionalism is needed.
The entry barrier, honestly, it should be much higher. Even back then when it was not regulated, with that unwavering drive that I had, even if you tell me I need to memorize 3 books by heart and do 10 exams, I would do it.
On the cold calling, before we close this, because I'm still very passionate about this, because people stop calling, but now they send you WhatsApp, you know.
WhatsApp is fine. I think as long as they don't annoy you with calls.
It is annoying because you get the ting, ting, like 7-8 times a day.
You don't know whether you want to keep your mobile on or off.
If you're a serial investor, you're going to get a lot of messages. But the point is, I think sometimes the brokers, they have a very short view on business, right? They want the lowest hanging fruit. What does that mean? It means that if you're joining a broker today, I will go to Firas and say, listen, Firas, let me call, because prospecting is the key for this business. We cannot ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. But I will go to Firas and say, please give me access to all your leads, of all the tenants for a particular development that registered with you 2 years ago. Because the odds of the buyer now being ready to go look for a property is very high, or to move to another rental property, right? So there is ways you can position yourself on the prospecting side, especially if it's a leads that have really already registered with your business. They made an inquiry at some point in time, but you just keep blasting people. At least, you know, they need to learn how to speak, because the conversation, hello, madam, you know, is your property available? It's like, they sometimes call your name wrong, or they say information that is not even the property that you sold
worse. They
12 years ago.
To do it. Who's not even a real estate agent. They hire an admin.
You know, even if you're going to challenge the regulation and, you know, you want to get fined, please improve your speech. Because it's not good.
We're in a digital era. I think so much focus on traditional way of getting customers is really obsolete. And I think with social media, and I see Firas and a lot of real estate brokers who are very vocal in social media. And they get a lot of customers, I think, from social media and YouTube and all these platforms.
Yeah, I mean, it does work. That's what's there.
But again, as an investor, I go to 3-4 portals and I want to check on a property. We still find fake listing, right? Like a listing that looks too attractive. So how do we solve that? Or what is your advice to investors?
I mean, as an investor, I think as we move forward in this market, the brand equity of the company will play a major role. As the largest agency, I mean, we're the largest because we're the most technologically advanced. Like if you don't have tech, you can never scale, because you can never manage, right? So I think clients should look at the brand equity. At Fan Properties today, on the CRM, it is impossible for any agent to intentionally or unintentionally put the price on an advertised property that is not in line with the Form A that is signed. That's it. Now, the biggest challenge with this, Doctor, I'd love like you to help us address it as well, because you know you're in this space, is that when there's a new set of regulations, it kind of first gets imposed on the big players. And also there's so much more expectations of the big players, even from clients.
Yes.
But then
you need to set an example.
Brand new companies that's very easy for them just to pop up in the market. And I am with this. I encourage people to this. I'm not like against people coming up and starting their own companies. I was once the same. But what I'm trying to say is that when a regulation gets introduced to the market, agents would come to me, for example, say, okay, we're not doing fake listings, but someone else is doing, and we're losing market share.
That's why recently, and this is maybe something we can share, recently RERA has joined forces with a company called Prop AI, and they currently, using AI technology, can identify all kind of fake listing on all portals automatic notification will be sent to the agents and to the portals. You have 24 hours to remove this. If it's not removed, automatic fine. And this is all built in with AI.
This had a huge impact because we didn't speak about this particular situation. Suddenly I called him a few weeks ago. I said, Mahmoud, what's going on in the market? I'm getting calls by all types of brokers, big and small, saying they got fined, their listings had been removed, like there was a bit of a panic a few weeks ago, which I was like laughing inside, feeling, okay, finally this is getting somewhere.
Well, it's not about, actually, we don't want it to be that way. We don't want it the tough way, but we want to make sure we're the most attractive, dynamic real estate market on earth by numbers, by scale, by 270 nationalities of people investing. The whole journey should be interesting. It's a life investment you're putting in property. You want to make sure you feel protected.
Absolutely.
And you feel that everything is going to go well. And even as an owner, I don't want to go and see my property listed at lower price and then someone comes and say, lower your price. I've seen it listed here and there at 20% discount, which is not real, because when you call that agent, he will tell you, well, this was sold. I have another one for you. A little bit away from regulations. Firas, where are the hot investments nowadays in the city? Where do we invest? What do we do?
In general, everyone wants, I'm going to give you like a very generic statement. Yeah. Everyone wants to buy a good deal. So the starting point is identifying a fair market price for any property in any project, whether off plan or ready or whatever it is. You need, as an investor, to be able to identify what is the fair market price for this property. Today, the data, the transparency, you can get this from DXP Interact, if it's in Dubai or Dubai Land Department website, or. That's one side of it. And the other side, you go to portals as well to see what are the advertised prices as well. Once you identify the fair market value of any property, anything below that is a good deal.
At this time?
Anything below that is a good deal. So if you know that the average market price, or actually a fair market price for this is 2 million, 10% below market price is great. You have to be reasonable. The market is booming. If you're aiming for 50%, you would never find this deal.
Nowhere in the world we've seen the growth that the real estate market had here. The off-plan market continues to thrive, not just in Dubai, but in Abu Dhabi, in Ras Al Khaimah. But like everything in life, once you go up, you need to go down at some point. So do you have any predictions? Do you think buyers should be a little bit more cautious? The interest rates are coming down, which is a good thing, and that should continue to push the market. But reality is there's a lot of supply.
If you ask me, I would say buyers should always be very cautious. The fact that you're operating in a market that is booming or about to grow or set to double does not mean that everyone is making money or everyone will make money. So the buyer should always do his homework or her homework. This is number one. Number two, I think we're in a completely different economics dynamics, at a global level, which means today the inflation is a major issue. And if you ask me today what they're trying to do, they're trying to balance between, okay, I put the interest rate higher, so I slow down the economy, so the demand slows down. And when the demand slows down, then the inflation will go down. They don't want to get it to a place where it becomes too slow, so it turns into a global recession.
Yes.
If you ask me, inflation has no solution. This is a problem that's been just growing with a snowball effect for the last, 20, 30, 40 years, since they separated the gold from, from backing the dollar. So I think today, this inflation thing makes even real estate investment 10 times more important and valid than before, when compared to keeping actually cash in your hands. And today, if you want to invest, you need to invest in something that you can control. You can only control what you can understand. And today, if I put you with 10 experts that talks about derivatives and stock market and you would not be able to really understand what's happening, because that is too deep and too broad as well. But real estate, everyone understands. So I think even if the market is about to collapse or the market is about to double, in both cases, if you factor your exit at the time you're making the investment and you're buying the best deal on the market, then either ways, if the market stays as is, you'll achieve your returns. If the market goes higher, you will do more. If the market goes down, you will still lose less than anyone else. I'm just saying that there is always an opportunity to make money, even if the market is on its way to collapse or on its way to double. People made so much money in the recession. People made so much money in the booming market. People You know, there are always
yeah,
opportunities,
100%,
right?
100%.
Today, for example, we came up with the development management as a product. Why? Because we feel the market's all-time high, supply and demand.
Yep.
So we want to enable our investors to tap into the development profit margin, which means today, for example, if you buy a land for 10 million and you want to build a villa on it, it costs you, for example, another 10 million to build a villa, that's 20 million dirhams.
Yep.
You know that the villa next to you is selling for, say, for example, just for easy calculation, is selling for 40.
Yep.
Now, you know, you're building something that will cost you 20 and you will sell for 40.
Yep.
This 100% profit or 50% profit, before I even think of the upside, I would think even if the market drops by 50%, I get my money back.
Yep.
The market stays as
It's
is.
still safe, yeah.
I make my profit as planned. The market goes higher, then I make more money.
So it's about also finding the right opportunity, right?
A question we always get, villa or apartment, land or a villa or a townhouse.
Okay.
What's your say on this?
I think if you ask me how I invest for me and for my investors,
Yes.
demand and supply is the most important.
Dynamic.
100%. So I would not buy in a project that, you know, when I want to sell, a buyer would come and look at my property and look at 10,000 other similar properties to buy from. So it's demand and supply. In general, if we talk about Dubai, townhouses and villas are less in supply. And I think it will continue to be less in supply because you don't go vertical with villas.
And then after COVID, a lot of people made a conscious position that they
100%.
want to be less in apartments, more in villas. So I agree with your statement. But continuing this topic then, I want your opinion on a community. Pick a community in the UAE that you think is not necessarily about making money, that it's something that you cheer for or you believe the community is good, and why?
I think Abu Dhabi has a long walkway. Big time. I think Abu Dhabi is underpriced. This is just one side note.
Just a note, he said Abu Dhabi is underpriced.
Honestly, it's underpriced. Today, if you see, someone was with us today in the meeting and said that they sold the most expensive property in Abu Dhabi and it's 130 million. You know, a penthouse in Dubai on the Palm sold for 550 million.
Yep.
Or 500 million.
Absolutely.
In terms of underpriced, I would say Jabal Ali is under the radar. If you want to buy a land, again, I'm not promoting any developer, anyone. This is an open market.
Yeah, of course.
But for example, if you buy in Jabal Ali Hills, I think Jabal Ali Hills will double and triple. Why? Because if you look at Jumeirah Park, for example, is on Sheikh Zayed Road, even is a bit more inland.
Yeah.
You're buying today the land there for 1,100 dirhams, 1,200 dirhams square foot.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that buying a freehold villa land that is not limitless in supply on Sheikh Zayed Road towards Abu Dhabi for 300 dirhams is an overpriced investment.
Yeah. Good value.
Yeah, I think Jabal Ali in general and Palm Jabal Ali being the main, it's like if you compare this to a stock market, it's the leading share. So every time there's an announcement in Palm Jabal Ali, you will have like a whole new level of
So
it will have a new hype.
Firas is supporting investing south, Jabal Ali all the way to Abu Dhabi. So I think you're right.
I think wherever you find a good deal, if you buy an overpriced, something overpriced in Jabal Ali, then you would lose money.
Firas, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely to have you with us.
Thank you so much, guys.
And I hope to see you soon. And congratulations for the success.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. حبيبنا الدكتور. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.